All right, tubers. Jeff Lindsay in the garage. We have Friday the 13th. It's about 4:20 p.m. and we've been getting out in the garage a little bit in the afternoons after work. We finished up the back end or rear end of the car again, but this time it's completely finished with our brake lines. Everything's hooked up and rotors and calipers cleaned and calipers painted. Hopefully that'll keep it from rusting up. Just got it sitting over out of the way for now. The other thing is yesterday our fuel lines came in, our pre-bent fuel line, and we ordered these off of eBay, but I'm assuming that the company is Inline Tube. I think they're out of Michigan or somewhere. And we're going to set this up and show you what they sent me and how they sent it. And we'll start this video from here. All right, tubers, we'll bring you back. All right, this fuel line comes in 2 pieces. And this is just how it was in the box before I took them out the first time. I slid them back in just to show you what they do. And they ship a front half and a back half fuel line pre-flared, and for shipping purposes, anything over 60 inches, I think, or it may be 48, I read it, but anyway, they make a bend so they can put it in a box, and they give you specific instructions on how to straighten this back out, which is pretty easy. Just put it on a firm surface and just start working around until you open up that line. But I'm okay with that. I don't think it'll be a big issue. Obviously, it's worked in the past. It's probably something they've been doing for a long time. The other half of this fuel line system comes with the gravel guard already in place. So that's a good deal. And the white tags kind of show you where to open up the bend at. Obviously this one's kind of come undone, but I'm assuming it was in this area right here. So that's where we'll open up our bends from, straighten these out, and then we can lay them in place on the car and kind of see how they fit, see just how good their bends are. One of them I think is going to be over the frame rail. That looks pretty much like that should be there. The other one, I'm not exactly sure where it ends up. I think this one will actually attach to the subframe. And that's where you'll make your connection, is where the subframe ends up, and then you'll kind of join it up with that one, but I'll have to do a little configuring to see exactly, and when we get that done, we'll bring you back and show it to you. But for now, we're just going to straighten those out, get them to the full length, and we'll see what happens. All right, so we just straighten it up in between the 2 white tags as indicated with their little instruction sheet. Very easy to do, and they've got the bends pretty much perfect. Obviously, they're in the business doing this. This is all they do, as far as I know, so it needs to be right. Follows the contour of the frame rail just right. Kind of like that side over there that I bent. So it comes back toward the gas tank and actually does a little hook and comes up. And if you'll notice, the frame, or not the frame, but the fuel line from the sending unit, the way it comes over and comes down, it's going to take a short piece of hose. I'll be able to cut this right in here, slide it over that, and I mean it's at a perfect angle, tubers. I know it's hard to see because it's dark black, but it's perfect. I mean, it's dead on. So That is the rear part of the fuel line. And as I suspected after going back and reading, the front part we hadn't got straightened out yet. It attaches to the subframe. And we'll figure all that out as we go as well. One other thing that we're thinking seriously about, we do have some brake line left. As cheap as this is, I think all this was 50 bucks. Pre-bent, pre-flared. The brake line for the subframe for the front brakes follows along down and clamps along in here. And then your brackets mount. And then your flex hose goes to the calipers each side. I'll probably order that piece right there. I mean, it's just so much easier just to mount the line than it is to try to bend and flare and do all that. So that's what we're thinking about. We'll see. All right, we're going to straighten this other one up, kind of lay it on the subframe, but we won't attach it because we still got a lot to do on that, motor mounts and different things, and we don't want to take a chance on damaging this. We'll get it straightened up and put it out of the way for now. But the back half, we're ready to mount it in there. So that's what we're looking at doing. We'll get busy. All right, Tubers, just took a minute and went ahead and straightened out the front one. Very easy to do. Again, this thing, it's perfectly bent. All of the mounting points line up just right. They've even got the little flare out at the back end, which will meet up, I'm assuming, probably dead on with this one, as long as we get this one right. And the way these bends are going down into this little valley area here, the back floorboard area, you really don't have much movement, so it's probably pretty close to being dead on. Very easy, very easy to do. Probably should have done the brake lines that way, but at the time we just didn't know that this was even an option, but that's okay. We're pretty good with the brake line. We ran ourselves. I think it's fine. It's got the gravel guard all the way up to the master cylinder area, and which we'll cut it back along in here wherever we need to when we make our bends, final bends up here. So just a quick shot of that one. And we'll get busy finding some clamps for the fuel line, and we'll bring you along. All right, Tubers, we scrounged through our box of stuff. The little clamps that came with our brake line, they're just not big enough to go over that 3/8 stuff. But we were able to locate what appears to be the original clamps, 3/8 diameter. They go over the gas line perfect. And also some lines that I'm not sure if they're for the gravel guard area or not, but they work. So that's what we're going to use. And I'll give you a quick shot. We just put a couple of them on to make sure. The clamps that go over the bare line, there's 3 locations, one here, one in the bottom, and one back there where the gas line hooks up. They do have the little stem that sticks in. There's 2 holes. One's for the line up pin here, and then obviously the other one is to bolt that in. So we think we got that figured out. We've also got the gravel guard clamp figured out. We think it works. It might not be exactly what's supposed to be there, but I think it's probably close. Anyway, that's what we're going to use. There's 2 locations, one here and one here. So we'll do that with those. And then we'll look for some more to go along the subframe to clamp that in. For now, we're going to get as many as we need, which would be 5, I think. 2 of this kind up here, 3 of this kind back there. We'll sandblast them, paint them. We'll get out here tomorrow at some point and mount this fuel line, hook it up in the back. We'll put us a piece here that'll connect to the subframe or front fuel line. And we'll obviously have to make this hook up when the car's back on the ground. And we'll obviously have to make our brake line hook up when it's back on the ground. Hopefully there won't be much of that going on. We're trying to get everything done underneath here while it's up in the air and flipped over. That was the whole point of doing this. So that's where we're at today. We're going to do some cleanup on the clamps. We're going to get them painted. And we're glad we did that. And we're going to start on this one. We actually got the wheel off and got the caliper and brake pads and all that. The calipers over there. We got to clean it up, paint it. We'll do the other side, get it rolled out of the way, and keep on keeping on. All right, Tubers, we'll bring you back. All right, Tubers, we stayed out here with it and got it done. Getting a little late in the evening, Friday the 13th. But we got the rear gas line completed, and it looks really good to me. All of our clamps and bolts painted up nice. Everything mounted in there. And I hope this thing don't go crazy. Trying to show it to you, but everything's mounted, looks real good. And there's the hookup. And we didn't have any of the little squeeze on deals. We used gear clamps, so I think they'll be okay, maybe, hopefully. All right, Tubers, that's gonna wind this one up. We're gonna get out here this weekend and do some more on something else. We'll bring you along when we do.